Hello everyone. Our capstone is looking at women retention in STEM. My name's Lindsay Irwin and my groupmate is Hillary Nelson. We've really enjoyed spending the semester looking at why or why not women tend to be in STEM and trying to address those reasons. There has been some research done on this topic. Studies show that women may feel they do not belong when a field emphasizes the importance of natural talent. This topic is very personal to us as to women in STEM, and we hope that our research and findings will benefit both STEM professors and students. The plan we mapped out for the semester includes starting with a survey to gauge current pre-IS student perception of the opportunities for women in STEM fields. Based off of the initial survey results, we planned initiatives to focus on throughout the semester. At the end of the semester, we sent out that same survey again to see how students' perceptions changed.
Okay, so now I'm going to briefly talk about the results of the survey that we sent out at the start of the semester. So we sent the survey out to all IS 201 and IS 303 students. There were many different questions on it, and I just wanted to highlight some of the ones that were more interesting. So this is a statement that they had to rate their level of agreement to. So the question or the statement was, I have what it takes to graduate with a degree in information systems from BYU. So you can see how that is split between males and females. So men in general were a lot more confident with this statement, or agreed a lot more with this statement. About 90% of them were neutral or above. So neutral, agree, or strongly agree with the statement. Whereas with females, only about 75% of them were neutral and above. So there was a lot larger chunk of them who just flat out disagreed with the statement. So that was pretty interesting to see. And then another question that we had was, which of the following would you consider inhibitors to women interested in the STEM field? So we just wanted to highlight a couple of these that were pretty interesting. So as you can see, difficulty of subjects was one of the options. Males rated it at 8%, or 8% of male participants selected this as a potential inhibitor, whereas almost 30% of females selected that. And then you can also see with lack of relevant skills, only 6% of men selected this, whereas 23% of women selected this as an inhibitor that would prevent women from entering STEM fields. So this was pretty interesting because it seems like women tend to be a lot harsher on themselves than men or others are being towards them. So that was an interesting thing to see. So overall, after this survey, and with just kind of our whole goal of this project in general, was we wanted to figure out how we can help women feel like they can succeed in information systems, and also how that can apply to the STEM field in general.
First, we'll take a look at the events we planned for the semester. We scheduled 3 events: an Instagram takeover, a Women in IS panel, and a video series. Our first event was on the @BYU_IS Instagram account. Over 5 days in February, we had current IS core students show their daily experience going to classes, work, etc. Our goal was to show pre-IS students what a week in the IS core was like. We had hundreds of views on the stories, and they are currently up in the highlights on the BYU-IS Instagram account page. We advertised the series beforehand to all of the IS 201 and 303 classes, and the account gained 25 followers. The BYU-IS office staff really enjoyed working with us on the event and plan on doing similar things with the Instagram account in the future.
Okay, so the second main initiative that we were pushing was the Women in IS panel for pre-IS women. So this was an event that we partnered with Women in Association for Information Systems to create. The name of the event was Women in IS Tips for Success. You can see one of the flyers we had over here on the screen. The focus of this event was to give pre-IS women the opportunity to interact with women who are currently in the IS program and ask any questions that they have to them in a comfortable environment. So we had a panel of 4 current IS students. So we'll go ahead and show you them here. So we had one junior core woman, a girl who was a senior, a first year MISM, and a second year MISM. So those were the women who were up there answering questions, and we had 5 main questions that were directed towards them. And then after these 5 questions, we kind of opened it up to all the attendees to just ask whatever questions they had. So I'll just read through the questions really quick. So, why did you decide to major in IS? What skills did you learn in the junior core and MISM? What career options are there for IS graduates? What is the hardest part about IS? And what is imposter syndrome and how can you overcome it? So these questions were created after basically we sent out a survey to all of the potential attendees to the event and had them write down questions or ideas that they had for potential questions to ask the panel members. And then we were able to kind of aggregate them into these high-level questions here. So the impact of the event, we had over 30 attendees, and we had a lot of engagement from the crowd. There was tons of questions asked, and it just really seemed like everyone was, like the information that was provided was valuable to the people who were there. And then afterwards, after the event ended, we had some cookies and stuff down at the bottom, and the panel members kind of stuck around to answer questions, and there was just tons of girls who were lining up to talk to them and getting their contact information. So that was really cool to see. We did create a survey for the attendees to kind of fill out at the end of the event. They just had to scan a QR code. And it was just a really, really short survey to basically briefly rate the, or give us feedback on the event. But only one person filled out the survey, so that wasn't super helpful. But overall, the event felt like it had a really good impact to the attendees.
Our last event planned for the semester was a video series where we would interview 4 graduating IS students with full-time offers. The goal was to show pre-IS students what they could do with their IS degree. We worked with Reed to select 4 students and then contacted them to schedule times to meet and film the series. Unfortunately, due to the spread of COVID-19 and its implications, we decided to cancel this event.
Okay, so now we'll talk about some of the other miscellaneous initiatives that we had going throughout the project that weren't really big enough to have their own slide, but yeah, we'll get into them here. Okay, so another thing that we wanted to do was to contact all students who had dropped IS 303 either this semester or last semester. So to do that, we were working with Greg Anderson to gather a list of students who had dropped and kind of get a survey ready to send out to them. And we were pretty much ready to do that, and then COVID-19 happened. So we had a huge spike in IS 303 droppers. So then we postponed sending out the survey so that we could kind of revamp our plan and decide if we wanted to send the survey out to all of the droppers, because basically the survey, as an incentive, there was a $5 Cougar Cash reward for those who filled out the survey. So we were like, do we want to send this out to all 303 droppers? Because now there was quite a few of them. Anyway, so it took some back and forth. We decided to narrow it down to a small number of people. And we're finally able to send it out. We've just recently been getting responses to that. So we were hoping to be able to collect the results and give those to Greg earlier on in the process, but because of everything that happened, it's taken a little bit longer than we anticipated. But we have been getting response just starting these past couple days. So even though Capstone deadlines are over, we're still going to get those responses back to Greg so that he can use those for upcoming semesters.
Another way we wanted to help pre-IS students was by creating a channel in the AIS Slack workspace dedicated to them and whatever questions they have. There are currently 55 members on that channel, and we anticipate it to grow as time passes. In order to help pre-IS students stick with IS from their first experience with it, we plan to look at IS 201 students' perception of and experiences with the various modules they learn. We were setting up a survey to be sent out at the end of the semester, but because of the impacts of COVID-19 and the irregularities of the semester, we canceled this survey.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the survey that we sent out at the end of this semester. And basically, the survey that we sent out at the end very closely mirrored the survey we sent out at the beginning of the semester. That way we can kind of compare the results between the two and gauge the confidence level of students in these pre-IS courses. So here's another question that we saw earlier. So it's the same statement. I have what it takes to graduate with a degree in information systems from BYU. You can see on the left, we have the start of the semester results, and on the right, we have the end of semester results. So for both men and women, there was an increase in the number of people who strongly agreed with that statement, that they were feeling more confident about that they had what it takes to get a degree in IS. But you can see, compared to the females, that they definitely, so in the strongly agree section, we jumped from a 21% to a 30%. And overall, we just have a lot less in the disagree section. So it went from 18% down to 12% who disagreed with the statement. So we saw a large increase in confidence level here. And then this is another statement. I know what career options exist for an information systems graduate. And this chart here is just focusing on females. And so the bars in blue show the start of the semester compared to the orange bars, which show end of semester. So once again, you can see that we have where we had more people at the start of the semester who disagreed or strongly disagreed with the statement and didn't think that they knew what career options existed for an IS graduate. We now have more people moving to the left and saying that they agree with this statement. So that was cool to see. And then another question that we had in there was, which of the following resources have you utilized? So there's a lot of numbers on this page, but basically, so on the left we have different resources. So those range from peers within IS, peers outside of IS, professors, TAs, the AIS Club, BYU IS on Instagram, Career Launch, and online resources like GitHub and Stack Overflow. So we wanted to get a feel for how frequently people are using these resources. So, and then we have the start of the semester is grouped by, or is listed first, and then the end of the semester, and then the last two columns show the percent change for males and females. So we can see, compared to the start of the semester, females saw an 11% increase for utilizing their peers within IS, a 9% increase for their peers outside of IS. Overall, you can just see that females increased quite drastically with utilizing people in their social networks. Didn't necessarily see a huge growth in AIS. We did get an increase of activity on the BYU IS Instagram from both males and females. They were using Career Launch less. And then it's interesting, men started using online resources a lot more frequently, whereas women kind of stayed the same there, but they were utilizing their social network a whole lot more. So that was cool to see. Overall, the results that we got from these surveys are kind of tricky because of what happened with the coronavirus. Basically, we know, so we had a lot less participants in the end of semester survey because a significant number of students did drop the IS 201 and IS 303 courses. So no matter what we do, we know that the data at the end of the semester is going to be skewed compared to the start of the semester. So it's kind of hard to compare the two together. But because of the situation, we're just working with what we have. And it's still cool to see these positive effects, even though there's a chance that maybe, you know, the women or men that were struggling the most and were facing a lot of challenges or were not feeling confident in IS, there's a chance that they were the ones who dropped their courses when the coronavirus added the drop extension, but we don't really have the power to know what happened there. So we're just kind of working with the situation the best that we can. Okay, so that's the end of our project. Overall, it was a really cool experience for us to work with the women in pre-IS courses. It's really encouraging to see them because we were in their places not so long ago, and Lindsay and I both know that IS is such an amazing degree, and if there's any women out there who feel incapable of getting through it or whatever, we know that that's not true because we're here doing it. So yeah, this has been a really cool opportunity to work with pre-IS women, and thank you for your time.